Hi besties! Are you ready for a new project? How about the Daycation strap? It's a strap that keeps all your important stuff close to you no matter where you are, in a spot with a lot of people, doing some sightseeing, being afraid that somebody could take your money or your cards. This strap is very helpful. You can attach a bag to it or your phone. And yes, it has a small pouch attached to it and a small D-ring and a zipper. So let's get into the details. You can make this from faux leather or vinyl as well. See the pouch right here? It does fit your earbuds, AirPods, chopsticks, and the zipper pocket can carry all of your credit cards, IDs, some cash, even some coins, because it's all safe because it's a zipper. So nothing can drop out. You can have it safely secured, and on a D-ring you can maybe hang your sunglasses or even a small pouch with stuff. So are you ready? Should we make one? So let's get into the preparations and the fabrics that I've used. On this one, I've used a cotton lining and a faux leather for the exterior. You can easily make this from canvas or waterproof or Oxford. It's up to you. And if you look at the pattern piece, you see this square or rectangle with the dotted lines, but we'll get to this in a moment. First, let's look at all the pieces that we need to cut out. So these are the front pocket and the zipper pocket lining pieces, and the exterior is the faux leather, and there you can see the Daycation. The bottom strap is without the rectangle, and the top strap, you can use this as a template, is cut out without the rectangle because this is for the zipper. And if you use a fabric with printing on it that needs to be upwards, right, make sure the zipper will go on the bottom and not on the top, because the top we will attach the front pocket. So we need some webbing and zipper, of course, and some hardware. The slider and the swivel hooks, the size does depend on the size of your webbing, as well as the rectangular ring. I've chosen an oval one, but of course you can use the regular rectangle ring. Make sure to use the right strap base if you use a wider webbing or smaller webbing. We do need a zipper pull and a D-ring. I've used this cutie here because I really like the look, but you can basically use any kind of D-ring. Just make sure it's not too wide, and the size for the top depends on the size of your D-ring. So if you use a smaller or wider D-ring, please make some adjustments. When it comes to the interfacing, I've used Daycation for the main parts and some G700 for the lining parts. I fused it to the wrong side, but I did not fuse any Daycation to the front pocket bottom, so it's easier to attach. This is the tab for the D-ring. It's double the width of your D-ring. So keep that in mind if you make any adjustments because you have a smaller D-ring or wider D-ring. We also need some magnet, one magnet to be exactly, one magnetic snap for the closure for the flap on our front pocket. This is a teeny tiny one. I really like that one. Usually the size is a 14 millimeter and this one is a 7 millimeter. So keep that in mind. Mine, they look a little bit smaller. So first we will do the front pocket. We will start with the flap, so make a marking on the lining piece of your flap being centered and 1 inch from the bottom, which is 2.5 centimeters from the bottom, and also make a marking on the front pocket, but this time on the main piece, not on the lining, for the other magnetic snap. So this one is 3 centimeters from the top or 1/4 inch from the top. We will attach the first piece from the magnetic snap, to be exact, the male piece to the flap and the female piece to the front pocket. I've fused some Decophyllite on the lining fabric to make it a little bit more secure, and I insert the male piece from the magnetic snap to the lining fabric from the flap, and I also fused some Decophyllite on top of it to protect my fabric. You could also use duct tape if you want. I use Decophyllite scraps this time. And here you see the main fabric from the front pocket, and there I attach the female part of the magnetic snap. And I also fuse some Decophyllite on top to protect my fabrics. Okay, now we will take the front pocket main and the front pocket bottom main piece, and we put them right sides together. Just align the long edge from the bottom to the outer edge, the curved edge from the front pocket. To make this a little bit easier, I make some small snips in the curvy section. So on the bottom piece, the front pocket bottom piece, just teeny tiny snips. And first I will baste this on. So if the bottom part is a tiny bit too long, just trim off any extra. And then you will sew this together with the correct seam allowance of 7 millimeters, which is a 1/4 inch. And then we will repeat this with our lining pieces. We will sew this exactly the same way. And for the flap, we will attach the lining and the main fabric right sides together and leave this open at the top. If you make this from canvas, you can make a smaller opening, but since this is faux leather and harder to turn, I will just start like straight, and I won't sew the top like with a tiny opening to change it. But if you make this from canvas, you can also make a smaller opening and also sew the top edge as well. Then I trim the seam allowance with my pinking shears and turn it inside out. And I made this a little bit quicker because I take my time for this, because it's annoying to watch, because I take my time, and it's just a small thing to turn. It's not always that easy. And then you have to form it out with the tool. And then if you can press it, like this one, I can press from the lining side because you have a lot of wrinkles in there. So then we will fold the seam allowance inwards. It is easier with the smaller opening, but since I decided to make the opening as big as possible, yeah, it takes time too, because I want this to be straight and looking nice, and it can be hard like that, but you can do this. Make sure everything is folded in nicely and straight. And then don't forget to top stitch your flap, but don't top stitch the edge where the opening is, because we will close the edge by stitching it onto our strap base. See, this is what it looks like when it's top stitched. So put this aside and we will take care of our front pocket, the bottom piece from it. I also trimmed the seam allowance a little bit on the faux leather part. And then we will put these two pieces, the lining and the main fabrics, right sides together. And since the top edge from this here is wider, I will show you what I meant with the flap. You could do this as well, because then it's easier to have a straight top edge if you sew it like that, but I will show you in a moment. First, just make sure that everything aligns perfectly, because it's the same size, so the edges should be on top of each other, And since you know me, I am a baster. I baste everything together because it gives me security. And I baste these two pieces together first, like really close to the edge. And then afterwards, I will sew this with the correct seam allowance. But right now, I will baste it together like this. So when you start sewing this together with the correct seam allowance, start here and leave the middle open. I start right before the seams. There you can see it. And then trim off the corners. And in the curvy section, you can also, from the main fabric, I mean, you can trim this. It's not a must, but it forms out a little bit easier and nicer if it's trimmed with pinking shears. And then you turn the piece right side out and form everything out nicely. Use a tool for that. You can use chopsticks like I do. My favorite tool to get all the creases and like bumps out of there. So make sure the corner is turned correctly, and then you can also fold like this. Fold the edges that everything stays in place. If you can iron it, but it's kind of hard, to be honest, because of the part where the side and the front meet. Can you say it like that? See, form it out nicely, fold the seam allowance inwards, and make sure it's straight and poke out the corners. And then we will top stitch the top edge. So this looks nice. And now just fold it, fold it, fold it. It'll be easier to attach if you have folded this quite a few times. And I tell you, just attaching the front pocket onto the strap base is probably the only thing that's a bit hard to do. Otherwise, it's not a hard thing to make. But attaching the front pocket can be quite tricky. So we have our flap and our front pocket. So we need to take the piece with the Daycation gap. Turn it like this. You see the Daycation is on the bottom right now. And on the left side, we will attach the strap. So we make a marking. And this marking is 8 centimeters, which is 318 from the left. We will make a marking and mark the middle. And then align the strap centered on this line and top stitch it on the strap base like this. And then you push it down. And now we will make the D-ring, because I've made so many of these straps when I prototyped them, and I forgot this step so many times. So this is important. Take the D-ring tab, fold the long edges towards the middle line, top stitch it, and then thread your D-ring onto the strap or tab and baste the top together like this. Okay? Because don't sew the front pocket on the strap base without attaching the thing. You can take some chalk now for your markings. What I like to do, what I prefer, is taking masking tape. So give it a try and then you can decide whether you like it or not. To me, it's just easier because when I use chalk, sometimes I manage always to wipe off my chalk and I don't see my markings anymore. I only had like this white masking tape. So if you have a smaller one, which is not as white as this one, it's better. So now we will just make the markings, like where to place the front pocket. So the front pocket is 10 centimeters tall. It's 4 inches tall and 7 centimeters wide. 2 3/4 inches width. So we will place our masking tape on our strap base on the bottom and on the sides, and we can mark the middle here easily and the full width of the pocket just with a pen. So that's why I like it. So see, I line up the side masking tape to my marking from the total width here. And since it's so wide, I need to rip off the sides because I don't want to stick this to my sewing machine. And then, like I said, don't forget, like I did many times, now it's time to take your D-ring. So we will attach the strap a little bit to the side, not in the center, because otherwise it will be like on top of the, too close to the zipper. So I like to align the one side to the middle like this and just baste it on there with a few stitches. And now for the tricky part. Take your front pocket and mark the middle on the bottom, because we will align this bottom right here to the middle on our masking tape marking, and align the sides right there. I have some long clips. These come in very handy. And important, close the magnetic snap to make sure your pocket closes correctly. So when it does and the height is okay, just place it on there. Check again if it's like straight. If you make this from cotton or canvas, you can now use some pins to attach it. I'm not going to pin through my faux leather because I don't want these little pokey holes in there. So I will line it up like that. It's fitting, it matches, so it's straight. And I will take you to my sewing machine and show you how I baste it on there. See, it's starting not below the flap, so it's right next to the flap, okay? Okay, let's do this. We can do this together. Go slow, take your time for this. And see, this is my starting point. Don't forget to lock your stitches at the beginning. Lock it. And then align the edge to the masking tape, which hopefully is put on there straight. And now make sure the middle is still aligned, and it might look weird because we don't want the pocket to be flat. It needs to be standing up. So you do have like a lot of bulk there. Push it out of the way. Make sure it's still straight and make sure that your middle markings are a match. Okay? And then work your way around the whole flap. And you see this is just a teeny tiny curve. I mean, it's not a square pocket, it's a curved edge here. So just make sure that it's still aligning to the bottom masking tape and the side masking tape. And then work your way up. Make sure it's still straight and lock your stitch. And ta-da! It's done! So when you first get back to the table here, make sure the flap is closing nicely and make sure that the D-ring tab is covered. Like that you cannot see the beginning of the tab, the raw edges, because the raw edges inside. You see? This is what it looks like. Form out everything nicely, close it, check, because now will be the time to change anything. And now we will continue with our zipper. Looks nice, right? Okay, zipper time. So there is the gap from the decofill, and we will need our lining pieces. So we take one lining piece and put this right sides together with our strap base, and make sure it's centered on the gap. So it's right there where the strap base is curving. That's like a good orientation. You put this together and stitch it from this side up here, and we will stitch the rectangle. This is what it looks like from this side. This is the side which is upwards on my sewing machine. And then take some scissors, about 3/8 inch to the side here and make a slit like 1 centimeters into the corners as close to the seam as possible. And then you can fold the lining to the inside, to the wrong side, and press it if possible. I mean, don't press the vinyl from the right side, just press it from the wrong side and make sure this is like a square, that everything is formed out nicely. But I really suggest you to press it. See, this line here lines up with the deco fill. So then as pressed, I put some clips in there for security. And then I take a zipper piece that's 21 centimeters long, 8-inch long zipper. You can always leave this a little bit longer and trim off any extra later. And insert your zipper pull. And now the next thing that's important, the zipper closes to the top. So the zipper is closing towards the pocket. And then you just place this on top, and this is aligning, like the top edge from the zipper, the outer edge of the zipper is aligning with the outer edge or top edge from the strap base. And then you will just baste it on there, just like that. I made a tiny mistake there. I wonder if you can see it, but I started my top stitch a little bit too far, so I had problems trimming off my extra zipper. Don't do that. You can avoid that. I will unpack this later, but you will see that. Trim off any extra. Use the lighter to melt the zipper a little bit, and yeah. Then you can put the other lining piece right sides together so the both lining pieces are right sides together now. And then you will sew the sides with 1 centimeter, but here you don't sew with the centimeter. You just baste it like as close to the edge as possible, and you top stitch from here, from the other side. So this is where I take off my my basting stitches, because I cannot sew this together properly. Properly is a hard word for a German to say. I'm sorry. So now you can sew the sides, the bottom, and the top will be basted. See, this is really close to the edge, you see, because we want to have as much room for our pocket as possible. And now we will start with our assembly. But before we actually assemble, we need to attach our webbing pieces. So you cut 2 pieces of webbing. One is 1 is 3 inches long and one is 6.5 inches long. So one is 8 centimeters and one is 17 centimeters. Take the 8 centimeter long piece, the 3-inch long piece, and put your rectangular ring, thread it on there, and baste this piece here to the top where the pocket is. Baste it on there centered with a few stitches above your front pocket. And the 17 centimeters long one, you just baste one side on there. This is 6.5 inches long. You baste it on there. I just let it stand over for about 1 centimeter, 3/8 inch. And now we will put the strap base bottom piece on top. We put them right sides together. So there's a trick here. So maybe watch this first before you do it. We start here, like where the bottom from the strap is, and we will sew this together until we get to this point here, because the rectangular ring is hard to sew around. But if you use a zipper foot, if you don't have like a slim sewing foot, it should be fine. And you stop here, about here, and you can see as far as you can go. If you cannot go further, it's up to you. But I will show you how I sew this. And the bottom will stay open, so don't get confused about it. Okay, so now this is the side where the zipper is not, to be honest. So lock your stitch, and then we will sew this with 1/4 inch seam allowance, which is 7 millimeters. And we will start here and work our way around the strap. And we will almost leave the whole side open where the zipper is not. So the zipper side will be sewn completely. So now we're at the bottom strap, and I'll make some extra stitches for security. And then I sew around here. Try to keep my seam allowance correct. And now as the zipper part is coming, so we will sew in the zipper. And you're probably wondering why I don't have my clips attached to the whole piece. It's because of the front pocket. It's in the, you get the zipper slider out of the way. The front pocket is in the way, so you need to push it flat when you get to that part. I mean, of course, you can try to put your D-ring, your clips there. So now this is quite hard and tricky. Don't sew above the rectangular. I pushed it to the side because now I still have the opportunity to put this to the side. And try to keep your seam allowance here and align everything again, because when you push it to the side, it gets shifted. So push it back, make sure everything's aligned correctly, and sew above the strap. And now this is why this is like a bit harder now. We don't have the space to push the rectangular ring towards the side too much. See, it's almost in the way, but it should be enough space. But if it's getting too tricky, try as far as possible, but don't force yourself, okay? I think I decided to stop here because then the front pocket will come and that's hard too. So just maybe lock your stitch and stop here. And we will do it later on. So then I realized like where the zipper is, I have this sliding off like here. It's no problem. I just simply stitch above this one more time with keeping the seam allowance correct. Just don't forget to lock the stitch. And yes, so check all your stitches because you try to avoid that, okay? Then we will trim off the corners right there. And then turn the piece right side out. And I make some snips like here in the curvy section, but only on the side right now where you've sewn everything together. Don't do this on the open side now. We will do this later. I'm sorry. So turn this now right side out. I wonder why I want to keep saying wrong side out. Turn it right side out. You can use the webbing to pull it out a little bit like that. And then take your chopstick like I did, or your professional tool to form out everything nicely, like all the curves. There are a lot of curves and corners. You need to poke them out and use a tool for that. And then we can start folding in the open edges, the open side of our strap. See, push this out. This might be stuck in there. And now we will use some clips. See, there's the lining from the zipper. So first, put the bottom base strap seam allowance above the lining from the zipper pocket. The Daycation light is your guide where you fold over your fabric. So work your way up, and when you get to the curve right here, now make some snips, but really short ones. Don't get too close to the Daycation. It's just that everything lays like a bit smoother, but we don't want to see any cuts. So now fold the top strap base seam allowance inwards and align these two edges. You can also make some small snips here too. And yes, when you're done and you have all your clips attached, Just check again if they lay above each other nicely without any issues. They should line up nicely. Make sure the lining from the zipper is flat, and we will start top stitching here around the whole piece, and by top stitching it will close our opening, and we will start and stop at the zipper. So we will start on top of the zipper where the front pocket is. Don't forget to lock your stitches and use a hump jumper because we have a lot of different heights. I don't like my hump jumper, so I use a piece of fabric, a piece of faux leather, because I can adjust it to whatever height I want just by folding it as high as I want to. So this is the start, and then I work my way around the whole piece. So next to the front pocket, it's tricky, but there should be enough space for your stitching. Push the front pocket to the side, and if the height difference is too big, you need to use your hump jumper here again. Like for me, it did work out without it, but when I get to the webbing, I will need it again, but you will see it. Go slow on the curves. So I keep working myself slowly and then turning it, and then I use my piece of scrap faux leather to place it under my sewing foot for the height, so it's the same height. And here again, like on the side, push the front pocket out of the way, and then we will get to the part where everything's open, so it needs to be lined up nicely so that nobody will know that this edge was open edge before. So remove the clips one by one and work your way around it. You might wonder why not make this, why this open edge and everything. It's just easier, I think, because if you have the front pocket, it's kind of hard to make when you put the two pieces right sides together and sew around the whole piece in the beginning. It's quite hard to sew around the rectangular ring, and the front pocket is making everything harder, so I think this was the easiest solution. But of course, it's your project. Just sew this however you like, and use whatever technique you like. What will make this a lot easier for you. So now we get to the zipper again. So we finished our round, and then use hump jumper again because this is high here, and you're right next to the zipper. I don't know the English word. Raub, we say in German. And don't forget to lock right here. And wow, this looks great already. So you're almost done right here. So then the weather turned really bad and the lighting is very dark, so I'm apologizing for that one. But now it's time to take our... See, I made my nails. They look pretty now. Like in the beginning of the video, they were still like grown out. But I got them fixed like in the meantime. So, okay, so now we need to get back to our sewing project. I'm sorry. Cut 43 inches of webbing, which is 110 centimeters. I use a lighter to seal the ends. Attach your swivel hook to the bottom strap that is attached. And before you sew this together, just take some clips and just leave it like that for a moment. And then you put your slider on one end of the webbing right there, and you will sew this together right here. I made a double fold. The end of the webbing is a double fold. I sew this together, and then I will thread the other end of the webbing through the rectangular ring. I go back up through the slider like this, and then I will put my second swivel hook, make a double fold, and take some clips first, okay? And now I really suggest you to try your strap and see if you like the length, because now you can still make this shorter, and then you will stitch this together and your strap is done. So this is a quick project. It's really good as a gift for somebody. It will spice up your bags or your phone strap. I hope this was easy for you. Let's have a look at it again. The pattern comes for 1 inch wide webbing, 2.5 centimeters, or a 4 centimeter wide webbing. I forgot the width in English. I'm sorry. See, this is the wider webbing. So when preparing your project, just make sure you take the right pattern piece for your desired width of webbing. I hope you had fun. I hope you like your strap, and I hope you take it anywhere you go, especially to like crowded places where you like to keep your important stuff close to your body, like your cash, your credit cards, small items, because I can promise you it's gonna be hard to steal your cash out of that zipper. 100% is gonna be tough, so nobody will dare to do that. I hope we can make many more projects together. I really appreciate you trying my patterns and my projects, and I'm having so much fun sewing all of these things together with you guys, because you take me places like I never thought I could be, and I'm still learning and I'm still developing. So thank you so much for being a part of that. And don't forget to tag me and show me your beautiful projects, because this always makes me happy. And yeah, keep sewing, come back for more, and have fun. Have fun learning new things. See you guys. Bye.